The studio breathes before it speaks. A low electrical hush beneath the seats. Camera rails glinting like clean blades. Cue cards trembling between a producer's fingers. West 66th Street is washed in a hard Manhattan morning, and the view is seconds from airtime. You can feel it, the room pulling in a single, held breath. A door clicks. He steps in. Tom Cruise moves like a steady metronome. Measured, present, a half smile that lands without noise and still turns heads. He bumps a fist with a grip, thanks a camera op by name, nods to the floor manager. The red tally lights overhead are dark. For now. He surveys the crescent of chairs, the audience in neat rows leaning forward as if curiosity had seatbelts. Calm lives on his face like a practiced skill. Across the table, Joy Behar looks over her glasses, reading the weather the way only a comic can, one glance for oxygen, another for sparks. She flips a note card, hides a grin. She knows a million ways to make live TV sing, and a few that make it smoke. 10, 9. A makeup artist pretends to fix a shine that isn't there. "You're good, Tom," she whispers. He thanks her softly. "Traffic was wild," he says. "Glad to be here." He means it. It lands as truth. 5, 4. A co-host teases the opener. Stunts, legacy, the new film no one has seen and everyone can already describe. The studio lights rise in a slow dawn. Applause detonates. Cameras glide. On the monitor, Tom's face blooms into that familiar geometry. Clean lines, steady eyes, composure like a signature. "Yes, sir. Welcome back to The View." The panel beams. Joy's smile carries helium. Our guest needs no introduction, but we gave him one anyway. Laughter easy. Tom sits, posture straight without strain, palms on the arms of the chair. Polite, anchored. They start with charm. "You still doing your own stunts?" a co-host asks, elbow slung casually on the desk. He laughs, brief, unforced. "As long as the insurance company doesn't faint," he says. The audience hums. He talks craft, rehearsals, safety. Fear is a tool if you hold it right. He lifts up his team by name. The aerial coordinator with 30 years of instinct. The editor whose cuts rewire a pulse. He keeps tilting the spotlight away from himself, which somehow puts more of it on him. Joy tracks the rhythm, then threads a needle. Her fingers tap on a face-down card. "Tom," she says, friendly, almost tender, "you've built a career on control, the good kind, precision, excellence. But there's a conversation about how much of you is still you when the cameras stop." The air cools a degree. He doesn't flinch. "I think audiences can smell a lie," he says softly. "They always could." Light applause. He nods to the crowd. Gratitude. No performance on it. Joy's mouth tilts. She's not done. She flips the card. Just a casual coaster becoming a blade. "There are stories," she says, "about shutting down questions, guarding the narrative a little too tightly. To some, that reads as disrespect. To journalists doing their job. To fans who feel they made you. Fair." The hush changes color. You can hear fabric shift, a cough swallowed mid-breath, a camera's track whispering an inch closer. Tom leans an inch forward, intimacy without surrender. "I've never disrespected anyone's job," he answers. "I protect boundaries that keep us human." He lets the words rest between them like a glass of water placed, not slammed. Joy nods, the veteran who can talk a tightrope into being. "Boundaries are noble," she says, "but power is louder. When you're the biggest movie star in the world, is no a boundary or a bulldozer?" A soft "oh" ripples the crowd. On the monitor, his close-up tightens until you can see the decision forming behind the eyes. He inhales, steady. "I don't bulldoze," he says. "I stand for dignity, for integrity, for a person's right not to be stripped down for a headline." Applause rises, first polite, then sincere. Joy lets it crest and fall. "Then you won't mind if we talk about..." She doesn't finish. He's already moved an idea, if not his body. The chair feels smaller, the table longer. In the control room, a voice rides the headsets. "Camera 2 on Joy, 3 on Tom. Do not lose his eyes." A gentler co-host tries to steer back. "Tell us about that second act cut. Your editor's a genius." Relief trickles in. Tom smiles. "She's fearless," he says. "She cuts until the frame tells the truth." Joy interrupts. Apology threaded through the timing. "Forgive me. Live TV." She lifts a new card delivered by a nervous PA. "Rumors say you strong-arm interviews threaten to walk to control the narrative. What do you say?" The studio's pulse stops. Tom tilts his head. Assessment, not anger. I don't threaten, he says. I promise. If the conversation stops being human, I leave. Not to win. To remain a person in a place that turns people into product. There's nowhere for humor to land. The line is too clean. Isn't leaving a privilege? Joy asks, quieter now. It is, he admits. And I use it to model a boundary I wish everyone had. If I had less power, I'd still try. If I had none, I'd still walk. And I'd hope someone with power would stand beside me. Phones lift, screens bloom like tiny moons. Somewhere a producer whispers, promo in 10, please. But the moment is out of paperwork and into history. Joy leans that final inch. Then prove it, she says. Stay. Answer one hard question you didn't pre-approve. Silence arrives like weather. Tom looks past the table into the lens as if he's checking with the millions at home or challenging them to check with themselves. I just did, he says. I answered the hardest one. A chair leg kisses the floor. The smallest scrape, the loudest sound of the hour. He doesn't stand, not yet, but the walk has entered the room, like a shadow that belongs to a future we can suddenly see. Live TV hums underfoot like a held note. The table gleams, the audience leans, and the red light above the lens glows like a warning no one can phrase out loud. Tom doesn't move. He lets stillness argue for him. Joy measures the silence with a comic's instinct and a journalist's aim. We're live, she says lightly, and people came for truth. So did I, he answers, voice even. But truth isn't obligated to strip. A co-host throws a lifeline. Your editor, the second act, those cuts felt like heartbeat. Tom's shoulders ease a fraction. She cuts until the frame tells the truth, he says, pride warming the words. The room loosens. Then a new card lands in Joy's hand like a spark on dry grass. Rumors say you strong-arm interviews, threaten to walk to control the narrative. Is that dignity or dominance? Phones rise. A grip in the wings forgets to breathe. Tom tilts his head, not offended, calculating. I don't threaten, he says. I promise. If the conversation stops being human, I will leave. Not to win, to remain a person. Humor can't find a foothold on that. Joy softens but doesn't let go. Leaving is a privilege, though. It is, he says, and I use it to model a boundary I wish everyone could afford. The audience splits, applause here, uneasy quiet there, like weather over two cities. Joy taps the card, rhythm ticking toward a moment. Fans say they made you. When you withhold, they feel rejected. What do you say to that? Tom looks into the first row, matching denim, a veteran's bomber, a kid buzzing with hope. I say thank you, he answers. I am yours on screen, off screen. I keep a few rooms with the door closed. The kid smiles like he's been handed permission to have a private life someday. Joy sees the current drifting back to him and nudges the rudder. Then prove you're not a product, she says, light voice, heavy words. Stay. Answer one unplanned question. He meets the lens, meets us. I just did, he says. The chair leg whispers over the floor, an inch back. Small sound, giant meaning. In the control room, camera 2 on Joy, 3 on Tom. Don't lose his eyes. Hold, hold. On the floor, a PA hovers with a promo cue that's already too late to save anyone. Joy tries a last bridge. Integrity is admirable, but when you stonewall, it reads as disrespect. To us, to viewers. He considers the word like a device he's disarmed before. I don't owe dignity to disrespect, he says, softer. I owe dignity to people. The audience shifts. Closer, not louder. Joy's eyebrow lifts a millimeter. On the view, that's thunder. So, if I ask one clearly off-limits question, do you walk? He doesn't blink. The answer is everywhere except his mouth. In the set's bright hallway that seems to inhale. In the way his jacket fits, like it's already in motion. In the tiny nod his publicist sends from the wing. No pressure, just permission. A co-host lunges for air. Before that, your aerial coordinator said you doubled rehearsals to keep risk off him. That true. Tom's gaze warms again. Everyone has a family, he says. That's who I'm responsible to. The studio sighs, and Joy, gently relentless, returns to the card. Last chance, she murmurs. One hard thing. Stay and answer. Tom's smile is real and immovable. I came to honor the work. If dignity is a performance to you, I'm not your act. A beat drops through the room like a stone into deep water. The ripples hit everything. Cameras, faces, history. He stands, not dramatic, precise. The salute he gives the crew is almost private. The audience inhales as one, a sound you can feel in your ribs. Joy's eyes flash with a dozen impulses. Land the moment, learn from it, let it go. Tom, if you walk now, she says, quieter than the lights deserve, what will people think? Maybe they'll think, he answers. He turns toward the bright hallway that leads away from the table and toward the storm. The hallway is a throat of light, white, bright, merciless. One step and Tom will be swallowed by it. He doesn't move yet. The chair behind him remembers the heat of his decision. The desk remembers everything that was almost said. Joy leans forward. No jokes now, no sugar. Tom, wait. He turns slightly, enough to keep her in the edge of his vision, enough to show the audience he's listening, not fleeing. The camera slides to find the angle where both faces fit inside one frame, a line drawn between conviction and the cost of it. We invite you because we respect the work, Joy says, voice lower, steadier. We ask hard questions because we respect the audience. And I leave, he answers, because I respect the person I have to be when the light turns off. He doesn't lift his voice. He doesn't need to. The room cranes in without moving. A co-host tries a bridge. We can reset, cut to break, come back to the film. The control room hisses in the headsets, a chorus of nervous gods. Hold him. Hold her. Do not kill this moment. Clean ISO. Camera 4. Take. Graphics. Stand by. No, stand down. Joy's fingers settle on the card that started the slide. She pushes it away with a small, deliberate motion, like returning a knife to its drawer. Then let me try again, she says. No ambush, no gotcha. Just one thing, human to human. Tom nods once. Permission granted, not surrender offered. Joy's gaze softens in a way only live TV can catch. 3 parts curiosity, 1 part fear of being wrong. When you draw the line, is there any part of you that's protecting the myth more than the man? The audience exhales. The question lands clean. It isn't a trap. It's a hand outstretched into weather. Tom holds her eyes. Yes, he says. The room tightens. We all protect myths. You protect the myth of a show that can ask everything. I protect the myth of a life that can't be bought in pieces. My work belongs to the world. My life doesn't. A few claps. A fragile, scattered rhythm. Then quiet returns like snowfall. Joy absorbs it, nodding slowly. Okay, then answer one thing for the people who grew up on you. She gestures to the first row, where denim jackets glow under the rig lights. Tell them why this line matters today. Tom looks to the crowd. His voice turns from flint to felt, because they're told every day that attention is love, he says, and that privacy is shame. I won't teach that. The kid in the aisle seat blinks hard. The veteran stares at his hands. Joy lets the empathy breathe, and then the job pulls her back. And if I ask one question, you've marked off limits? Tom turns fully toward the hallway now. Then I'll leave. She tries one last inch, the inch that will be replayed in living rooms and editors' suites, and on phones smudged by a million thumbs. Are you protecting someone else? The words are gentle. The blade is real. He feels the click inside, an old door closing. His answer is just a look, a quiet no, spoken by the set of his mouth and the stillness of his hands. He steps. The studio reacts like a body to a wound. Sharp inhale, then the rush. The floor manager pivots, clearing space. A PA fumbles a cue card into confetti. The publicist emerges like a shadow, learning to be solid. Tom, she says, low, left or right? Left. He answers with the surety of a stunt map memorized in the dark. Joy rises halfway from her chair. An instinct, not a plan. Tom, it isn't an order or a plea. It's the sound you make when the thing you respect is leaving and the camera is still red. He stops just long enough to make it a choice. He faces her again, not from the seat where he was asked to shrink, but from the space where he fits. I'm not angry, he says softly. I'm drawing. Lines? She asks. Maps, he corrects, so the people coming after me don't get lost. On the screens overhead, the split view is a poem, Joy's hand cupped over the cards, Tom framed by a doorway of light, an audience suspended between two kinds of courage. The control room fractures along human lines. Cut to break. No, write it out, think of the affiliates, think of the clip. The director chooses history over safety. Stay with him, she says. Camera 3, follow. Tom crosses the threshold. Backstage is cooler, steel, gaff tape, the perfume of old stories. A security guard steps aside with the reverence reserved for things larger than rules. Crew flattened to the walls, eyes wide, voiceless thank yous blooming across their faces as he passes. He taps two of them on the shoulder. Habit, not theater. Thank you for today, he says, meaning it. The publicist matches his stride. We can reset, she whispers. Offer to come back after break. He shakes his head, not irritated, simply done. They'll cut it however they need, he says, but we have to live with it. Statement? She asks. Later, he says, let the clip speak. He reaches the stage door, the one that empties into a corridor of framed posters and exit signs that glow like tiny verdicts. Before he pushes, he turns back one last time. The camera is there, faithful, hungry. He looks into it like a man looking into a mirror he refuses to hate. Choose dignity, he says, not loud, clear. In the studio, Joy lowers herself fully back into the chair. It is heavier now. She looks at the audience, at the kid, at the veteran, at the denim, and she owns the moment the way only a pro can. We don't always get what we want on live TV, she says, voice steady, but sometimes we get what we need. Applause rises. Awkward, sincere, confused, but undeniably human. On social, the clip already has teeth. The chair scrape becomes a metronome for think pieces. The hallway light becomes a symbol people will project themselves onto until it's crowded with meanings. Backstage, Tom turns the handle. The door gives the soft sigh of a scene ending. He walks out, and the silence he leaves behind is the loudest thing that aired all morning. The stage door exhales. Headsets riot. Sneakers squeak like commas you can hear. Tom walks the white corridor, measured, unangry, leaving not to punish the room, but to keep something human intact. His publicist whispers, your choose dignity line is everywhere. He nods. Let it be. On set, Joy steadies, palms on the cards. We ask for honesty. She tells the lens, breath evening. That includes ours. A card came from upstairs. It pushed a rumor for a clip. I chose it. He chose to leave. The audience absorbs it like sunlight after a long hallway. Footsteps. Joy appears in fluorescent honesty. No glasses, no cards. The guard shifts. Tom gives a nod and space opens. I told them, she says, about the push. You didn't have to. I did, for the same reason you left. A PA? 30 seconds. Joy. There's a seat if you want it. No blinds, just the work, or... I keep walking, he finishes, gentle. Either way, she smiles, we just taught a class. His own voice floats from a hallway monitor, choose dignity. Smaller now, truer. On air I asked, myth or man? Joy says, the future. He answers, elevator dings, doors close. Outside, New York's indifferent mercy waits. Walkout or statement, someone calls. Both, he says. A mother with a stroller blurts, my kid thinks you're brave. He crouches, soft smile. He'll be braver. You'll teach him where to stop. And the city swallows him into its ordinary weather. The clip outruns the hour. The chair scrape becomes percussion. Choose dignity becomes headline, hashtag mirror. Think pieces split the room. Poise is weapon versus person over product. A kinder voice writes, boundaries aren't walls. They're doors with doorknobs. The View posts, we value hard questions and human dignity. Today we missed the balance. Joy adds her own. Dry, clean, accountable. It trends less than the walk, but it travels. Tom's feed stays quiet until one still, an empty set, a coil of cable like a question mark. Caption, for the work and the people who make it. Behind closed doors, memos recalibrate. Don't chase the clip at the cost of the conversation. A producer upstairs resigns. We forgot the difference. The industry thinks, if only for a day. At home, families turn the moment into a mirror. Some never forgive leaving. Some never forgive pushing. Most file the lesson. You can be brave without improv, kind without compliance. Tom returns to set lighter. No bargain made in a hallway. 2 more reps. He tells a young stunt performer. Then we lock. Joy returns to the table and invites a media ethicist, public interest versus appetite. When am I protecting the myth of a show that can ask anything? She asks. When you forget the guest is a person, comes the answer. Weeks later, at a small town screening, someone stands. Thank you for the film and the other thing. He nods. He knows which thing. After a teen asks, how do you know where to draw it? Ask what you're protecting, he says. If it's your heart, draw it. If it's your brand, look again. If this hit a nerve, because you felt that inch of air where choosing yourself costs something, stick with us. Subscribe, share, and tell me in the comments. The last time you chose a boundary over a moment, what happened next?